Modern enterprise applications live or die by their release cycles. To stay competitive, companies push software updates at high speed. To meet that demand, engineering teams adopted DevOps, a system of automation designed to continuously build, test, and deploy code without human interruption. But early pipelines had a structural flaw. Security was treated as a manual audit that only happened at the end of the process, right before the software was shipped. All that automated speed just races toward a physical barrier. Pushing code quickly without integrated guardrails turns the security review into a crippling bottleneck. Finding a vulnerability at this late stage is expensive. It forces developers to kick the entire project back to square one, to rewrite and retest the application. Faced with looming deadlines, teams often rely on a workaround. They skip the security audit altogether and push untested code live to customers. Traditional DevOps often forces a choice between speed and security. When speed wins, unpatched libraries and vulnerable code are exposed to the public internet. The solution is shift left. Automated security checks start the moment a developer types code. When pushed, tools like SonarTube scan the text, stopping the belt if a hard-coded password is found. Simultaneously, OWASP dependency check scans third-party libraries, rejecting compromised packages. This Jenkins dashboard shows the quality gate in practice. If the code fails the automated analysis, the system throws a red X and halts the process, ensuring vulnerabilities do not advance past the developer's workstation. Once the code clears that first hurdle, it is compiled and packaged into a deployable artifact, like a Java archive or a Docker container. Teams use dedicated artifact repositories, like Nexus or Artifactory, to act as a centralized, version-controlled vault, preventing dependency hell and caching upstream sources. Inside this environment, the artifacts are immutable. They are continuously scanned for new vulnerabilities before they are allowed to be promoted to the next stage. Centralizing artifact management provides a secure, version-controlled record of every binary before reaching a production server. Even with secure code, deploying onto a manually configured server is a risk. Manual setup often leads to configuration drift and inconsistent environments. Infrastructure as code solves this by provisioning cloud environments automatically using version-controlled scripts that define networks. This AWS dashboard shows the infrastructure is segmented. The pipeline's core tools, Jenkins, Nexus, and SonarCube, run on their own isolated virtual machines. This architecture diagram traces the final leg. The verified artifact is built into a container and deployed to an Amazon Elastic Kubernetes service cluster, created securely every time. Replacing manual server setup with version-controlled scripts ensures the deployment environment is audit-ready and consistently configured. The automated rollout happens seamlessly. There is zero downtime because the deployment is driven entirely by verified code. Once live, the system's health is monitored by Prometheus and Grafana, tracking performance metrics across the pipeline to ensure stability. This replaces the chaotic manual reviews and stressful delays that define traditional security bottlenecks. Shifting security to the left allows developers, security teams, and operators to work within the same automated framework. In a mature pipeline, security is no longer a human gatekeeper standing at the end of an assembly line. Compliance and vulnerability scanning are now part of the machinery of the continuous integration workflow itself. By integrating these controls from the first keystroke, organizations achieve the goal of modern software. They can move fast while staying secure.
Welcome to this Naveen Tech Hub Explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into a real engineering walkthrough of build tools. We're going to trace the exact journey of your code, literally from a local developer's laptop all the way to a highly secure, fully automated Kubernetes cloud deployment. Let's get right into it.
So picture this, a scenario literally every DevOps engineer dreads. A developer confidently tells you, hey, it works on my machine. But the second you trigger a manual production build, it completely crashes. Why does this happen? Well, because manual processes absolutely guarantee environment drift, missing dependencies, and just plain old human error.
To cure that works on my machine headache for good, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're bridging the gap from basic concepts to advanced CI/CD orchestration. We'll hit build tool basics, master Maven, set up Nexus artifact storage, build out a DevSecOps pipeline, and even dive into the Python parallel universe, before wrapping up with some rapid-fire interview prep.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, why we actually need build tools, and establishing our baseline.
Okay, The absolute most crucial concept to grasp first is the artifact. Simply put, an artifact is just any file that pops out at the end of a build process. If you're compiling Java, you're looking at a .jar or .war file. Packaging for the cloud, that's going to be a Docker container image. Ultimately, it's the deployable result of your source code, and you need it to be perfectly reproducible every single time you hit build. And that's exactly why build tools are a total game changer across the board. Whether you're working with a compiled language like Java, which needs translation into JVM bytecode using a tool like Maven, or an interpreted language like Python using pip, the end goal is exactly the same. You use build tools to strictly lock down your exact dependency versions. They ensure that what you test is literally exactly what you deploy. Zero environment drift.
Moving right along to Section 2, let's master Maven Basics, the undisputed core tool for enterprise Java.
In the Maven world, your single source of truth is the pom.xml file. This file is the absolute boss. It dictates your project's identity with a group ID and an artifact ID. It lists exactly which dependency libraries your app needs, and it defines the plugins that do the heavy lifting of compiling and packaging. And hey, quick Naveen Tech Hub pro tip for your pipelines here. Never, ever hard-code your credentials in your pom.xml or settings.xml files. You always want to inject those dynamically using a secrets manager in your CI/CD environment.
Now, Maven operates on a super strict sequential lifecycle. It's all about convention over configuration. The phases run in a very specific order: validate, compile, test, package, verify, install, and finally deploy. The really cool thing here is that if you tell Maven to package your application, it's smart enough to automatically validate, compile your code, and run your unit tests first. It literally guarantees that a broken build will never get packaged.
Out in the real world of engineering, the command you're going to reach for the most is mvn clean install. That clean phase is absolutely vital. It completely wipes out the old target output folder. That way, you're guaranteed a totally fresh build from scratch, which stops any leftover stale compiled classes from causing weird false positives when you're testing.
All right, Section 3, Nexus and Artifactory Management. Because once Maven gives you that pristine artifact, it needs a secure place to live.
You definitely can't just leave artifacts sitting on a build server. Here's a robust DevOps use case for you. An automated Jenkins server triggers a Maven build. Maven jumps in, compiles the code, and resolves dependencies securely by routing requests through a Nexus proxy repository. Once unit tests pass and everything's packaged up, Jenkins pushes that final versioned binary straight into a Nexus-hosted repository. Bam! It's ready for QA or a full production release.
As a DevOps engineer, knowing how to choose your repository architecture is a massive interview takeaway. Sonatype Nexus OSS is highly efficient, runs like a dream on lower resources, and is super cost-effective. It's perfect if your world is mostly Maven, NPM, and Docker. JFrog Artifactory, on the other hand, is the heavyweight champion for massive, polyglot enterprise environments that need universal format support, advanced metadata queries, and complex multi-region setups.
Up next, Section 4, End-to-End CI/CD Pipeline. Let's bring true DevSecOps into the cloud.
It's time to orchestrate all these individual tools into one single, automated, highly secure pipeline. This is the shift-left security model in action. The developer's code from GitHub triggers Jenkins, but before anything actually gets built or deployed, it faces strict gating. SonarQube runs static code analysis to hunt down bugs and code smells, while OWASP Dependency Check scans your Maven libraries against CVE databases for known vulnerabilities. If it spots a critical vulnerability, boom, the pipeline halts immediately. That vulnerable code never touches Nexus, let alone your AWS Kubernetes cluster.
Before we completely leave the Java ecosystem, be ready for this classic interview question: Maven versus Gradle. Here's the core difference you need to remember. Maven is XML-based and gives you rigid, highly predictable standardization. It's very opinionated. Gradle, though, uses a Groovy or Kotlin DSL, meaning it offers highly customizable build logic and blazingly fast incremental build speeds by only compiling exactly what just changed.
On to Section 5, Python Build Tools Comparison. Welcome to the parallel universe.
Modern DevOps teams juggle multiple languages, so let's map what we just learned over to Python. The concepts actually line up perfectly. Just like Maven uses the pom.xml to definitively lock down dependencies, Python relies on pip along with a requirements.txt or the newer pyproject.toml file. Where Java uses JUnit for testing, Python rocks pytest. And while Java packages into a jar file, In the modern Python ecosystem, your final deployable artifact is almost always a Docker container image. The real-world Python workflow mimics Maven's structured lifecycle beautifully. You start with your Python code, but right away you spin up an isolated virtual environment, a venv. Then you resolve and install your dependencies using pip. After that, you enforce automated unit testing with pytest, and only if those tests pass do you package the app into a Docker container and push it through your CI/CD pipeline for deployment. It's the exact same reliable engineering philosophy, just with different syntax.
Finally, Section 6, Interview Prep and Recap. Let's lock in this capstone.
We've covered a ton of ground today, so let's get you interview ready. Here's a massive pro tip to stand out. Always highlight common production mistakes. Talk about how teams often mistakenly bloat their Nexus storage with massive text logs instead of strictly storing binaries. Point out the sheer danger of skipping OWASP automated vulnerability scans, and definitely mention the wasted bandwidth and unreliability that comes from relying purely on public internet mirrors without setting up proxy caching in Artifactory or Nexus.
You'll want to keep this command cheat sheet burned into your memory. It really highlights how similarly we execute the build, test, and package phases across both ecosystems. Running mvn clean package in Java hits the exact same foundational goals as running pip install followed by pytest and a Docker build does in Python.
Get ready for rapid-fire questions like these. You absolutely must be able to explain transitive dependencies. When your library relies on another library. You need to clearly articulate the difference between a Nexus-hosted repository for your internal releases and a proxy repository that caches external public packages. And always know the exact phases of the Maven Lifecycle and the supreme importance of the pom.xml file.
So the absolute biggest takeaway from this entire explainer is this unbroken chain of automation. A developer pushes to Git. Jenkins automatically builds and tests it. SonarQube and OWASP rigorously scan it for security threats. Nexus securely versions and stores the clean artifact. Docker containerizes it, and finally it deploys out to an AWS EKS Kubernetes cluster, all with absolutely zero manual intervention.
I'll leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought to evaluate your own pipelines right now. Is your software supply chain completely immutable and secure? Or are you literally just one unversioned dependency away from a massive production crash? Take these tools, enforce your versions, and lock down your artifacts. Thanks for joining this explainer, and keep building securely.